संजय किशन कौल साहब हो गए, तीन बचे, 6 बजे तो 4 है ना, 4 चीफ जस्टिस हो गए, अटॉर्नी हो गए।
हाँ दे दो। हाँ अच्छा, नहीं नहीं नहीं। ये दे जाओ दे। May I request Dr. Adis Agrawala, President SCBA, Mr. Sukumar Parjoshi, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Justice Supreme Court of India, Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, to the dais. May I request Mr. Upendra Mishra to present a sapling to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India. May I request newly qualified advocate on record, Mr. Amaren Kumar Singh, to present a sapling to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, the Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. C.K. Ganguly to present a sapling to Honorable Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India. May I request Anil Nisani to present a sapling to Mrs. Shivani Kaul, wife of Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, the Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. Bibhu Shankar Mishra to present a sapling to Mr. Tushar Mehta, London Solicitor General for India. I welcome Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Justice Supreme Court of India, family members of Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, his wife Mrs. Shivani Kaul, Mrs. Akanksha Kaul, Mr. Aditya Khurana, Mrs. Upasana Kaul, Mr. Arjun Mehta, Ms. Adya Kaul, and Master Abir Kaul Mehta. Honorable judges, other honorable judges of Supreme Court of India. and Honorable Judges of High Courts, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Mr. Adis Agarwala, President SCBA, Mr. Sukumar Parjoshi, Vice President SCBA, Learned Law Officers, Mr. P.H. Parikh, Mr. Vikas Singh, Mr. Rakesh Khanna, Mr. Pradeep Kumar Rai, Colonel Bala Subramaniam, Mr. Vikram Banerjee, Mr. Ardhendu Mauli Kumar Prasad, Ms. Neena Gupta, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President Iskora, Mr. Sanasis, Vice President Iskora, Mr. Atul Kurherkar, Learned Secretary General, and Mr. Mahesh Patankar, and other registrars, senior members, and members of the bar. Very good evening to all of you. Today we have gathered here to bid farewell to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. It is my privilege to welcome your Lordship. Justice Kaul said, "Justice is done with both heart and mind. So it is necessary to follow the heart and parameters of law. And above all, it is important to have the command over the exercise of jurisdiction to avoid wastage of time." Justice Kaul's dedications extend beyond the boundaries of the courtroom. He actively participates in promoting access justice to all, serving as a chairman of NALSA. Your Lordship is also known as the torchbearer in the field of mediation. Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul was born on 26th of December 1958 in Srinagar, Jammu and Kashmir. Lordship is an alumnus of Modern School, New Delhi, and St. Stephen's College, Delhi, where he did economics honors, and he attained his Bachelor's of Law from CLC, Delhi University in 1982. He enrolled as an advocate with the Delhi Bar Council in 1982. Your Lordship practiced mainly in commercial, civil, writ, original, company jurisdictions of the Delhi High Court and Supreme Court of India. Lordship served as an advocate record at the Supreme Court of India from 1987 to 1999 and was designated as a senior advocate in December 1999. Lordship was elevated as an additional judge of Delhi High Court on 3rd of May 2001 and was appointed as a permanent judge in the year 2003. Lordship was elevated as the acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court in the year 2012 and then elevated as Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court in the year 2013. Your Lordship assumed charge as the Chief Justice of Madras High Court in the year 2014. And then the Lordship was appointed as a judge of the Supreme Court of India on 17th of February 2017. Lordship has authored more than 159 judgments and has been a part of more than 565 benches, and some of the famous cases which has been dealt by Lordships are case Puttoswamy versus Union of India, Janal Singh versus Lakshmi Narayan Gupta, Ratnam Sudesh Iyer versus Jaiki Kakubhai Sraf, and recent judgment abrogation of Article 370 and so many cases. Now, may I request Mr. Sukumar Parjoshi, our Vice President SCBA, to deliver his welcome address.
Good evening. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India, to honor him and to give him the tribute we feel we are gathering here. Madam Shivani Kaul and member of Sir and Madam's family who are present here. Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, past and present, Sikri sir is here. We are so happy, sir, you are here. Honorable Judges of High Court who could make it. Sri R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India. Sri Tushar Mehta ji, Learned Solicitor General of India. Learned Law Officers. Members of the Supreme Court Administration, Atul Kurherkar ji, Dr. Adis Agarwal, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, and my colleagues and members of the committee, Mr. Manoj Mishra, President SCORA, and the members of his executive committee, senior advocates, my esteemed colleagues, guests from press. In this evening, I, on behalf of the Executive Committee of the Supreme Court Bar Association, extend a very warm welcome to all of you who have gathered here to celebrate the legacy of Justice Kaul and give him a warm and a farewell. Can we start this with a warm round of applause for Justice Kaul, please? Today we have all gathered here to bid farewell to a luminary of legal fraternity, Hon'ble Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. His Lordship's illustrious journey is marked by an unyielding commitment to justice and to the rule of law. Sir's journey in the legal arena started from Delhi University, where he acquired his LLB degree after graduating from the prestigious St. Stephen's College in Delhi University, along with Dr. Chandrachud as classmates at the beginning. Justice Kaul's practice as a lawyer spanned from realms of commercial, civil, writ, original and company jurisdiction, and that resonates with expertise, diligence and pursuit of justice. Sir was also an advocate on record of the Supreme Court of India and later designated as a senior advocate. His contributions were instrumental in shaping pivotal cases across diverse domains from constitutional to banking, finance to insurance and beyond. His proficiency extended to various tribunals and panels, underscoring his versatility and depth of legal acumen. Elevated as an additional judge of Delhi High Court in 2001 and subsequently as a permanent judge, Justice Kaul's tenure was marked by his eschewed judicial wisdom, compassion and dedication to upholding the principles of justice. His stewardship as acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana High Court, and later as Chief Justice of the Madras High Court exemplifies leadership of the highest order. In 2017, his elevation to the apex court is a recognition of his contribution to the field of law as a jurist and an architect who contributed continuously for expansion of judicial infrastructure, either by way of creating capacities of manpower and by way of creating infrastructure physically and intellectually. During his tenure as a judge in the Delhi High Court, in fact, his capacity as an architect of the judicial system, maybe the physical buildings, maybe it is the mediation center, the arbitration center, in fact a hospital, a mini hospital in the High Court complex. And the state-of-art buildings today we see in Delhi High Court, in fact, is a reflection of Sir's contribution and his. While saying all this, and when the Christmas is round the corner, I think Justice Chandrachud will permit me to say something also. Sir, you are the best. And in fact, you have given us so much as an architect, in fact, of the system. We all are beneficiaries. I can't. In fact, on pre-Diwali, Sir came and immediately announced a state-of-art, probably a parking, multi-story parking for us, chambers, and whatnot, and a recreational center. Sir, today, as a legacy as a party gift to Sir, and which the members will benefit, on their behalf, a wish, a Christmas wish, in fact, to you, Sir. You have been a Santa to us. Sir, what they all feel, and I say, Sir, this is a wish that you give us a mini hospital in this complex. Only you are capable, Sir. Only you are capable, and you have a big heart. Probably you will do that, and Sir, they all will. Ye sare aapko dua denge, Sir. And that will be one of the largest things, Sir, we expect from you. Now, Sir, Kaul Sahab is also known. In fact, besides law and all, music, theatre and golf. Sir, probably you'll get some time now, sir. So that's why, in a way, we are very happy that the next phase of his journey, probably, sir, will dedicate to the family, the grandchildren, and to the love you always wanted to enjoy, in fact, your golf, your music, theatre, which probably you have missed because of paucity of time. I wish you, sir, a very, very happy retired second innings. Of course, there is no retirement for you, sir. You have been working and you will work, I know. So therefore, sir, and you will be in Delhi, so that's a pleasure that we all will be benefited with your guidance throughout. Thank you, everybody. I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, because today is the last working day of this session. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now may I request Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Attorney General for India, to kindly deliver his address.
There are two persons on the dais with whom I cannot compete, and I don't wish to compete. The Honorable Chief Justice, with his very quotable Hindi or Urdu couplets as verses every time we meet here, and regale us with his wonderful engagement of the mind. And other, of course, our SCBA President, Mr. So he's a marshal of his own kind. We can do so many things. Therefore, I propose to greet Justice Kaul today evening in my own little way. I would have spoken extempore, but I thought certain thoughts I must put it on paper in case it is to be added somewhere as part of a chronicle of a departing judges. We often enter weighty moments both of sentiments and storytelling, when we assemble to bid farewell. The pleasant aspects in gathering all that are unique and worthy about a judge to be narrated and shared is mixed with the weight of parting. I have this mix while I organize my deeply felt thoughts about Justice Kaul. A judicial path is a renunciation of a sort. The high demands of acting without fear or favor and to practice doing justice objectively calls for a training of the mind to a constant equipoise. It also calls for giving up on several friends of personal life and live in the midst of claims and issues of others who look upon the judge to pull magic and charm. The ease with which this is done becomes a special chapter of the judge. Justice Kaul qualifies truly in this regard. I should say that Justice Kaul, in the best traditions of the high standards of the office, has turned remarkable chapters of his judicial service to we the people of India. Tall in more than one sense he is, tall he will be remembered, as I said in the morning. The high-minded tribunal, if we say it like that, objective and authoritative, sorting truth from falsehood without playing favorites and carefully filtering personal or moral or other consideration is what I can say of him. Justice Kaul's recent judgment in Article 370, besides the statesmanship involved, is a sensitivity to complex social realities, which may not fit into any defined narratives. Intellectual archery coupled with sociological insights. No part of the wide spectrum of our laws and justice remain out of engagement of a judge in the higher courts and more so in Supreme Court. The national fabric of legal framework is the daily stuff of life here. The horizons of justice administration are expanding. The navigation skills to look at their common threads and their distinct dimensions, but to connect them at the constitutional fundamentals is challenging. If I scan the judicial map of Justice Kaul, I should unhesitatingly say that he possessed and demonstrated this navigation skill remarkably. He entered the judicial scene at a time when post-early stages of globalization began to impact several areas and fields of law. I should say that his grasp of the changes and his relevance reflect in many of the justice's opinions in the field of commercial and constitutional law. I recollect with relish our insightful exchanges of views on the Commercial Courts Act in the course of a workshop in the Bhopal Judicial Academy. Let me capture by looking at his remarkable achievements by citing a few judgments. In Khushwant Singh versus Maneka Gandhi, in an injunction suit sought against publication of autobiography of Khushwant Singh on grounds of the contents being derogatory and defamatory, Justice Kaul's bench said, I quote, "There is no doubt that there are two competing interests to be balanced, as submitted by the learned counsel for the respondent. That of the author to write and publish, and the right of an individual against invasion of privacy and the threat of defamation. However, the balancing of these rights would be considered at the stage of the claim of damages for defamation rather than preventive action for injuncting against the publication itself." Then again, writing opinion in 2008 on the dynamics between democracy and freedom of speech, he said, I quote, "Pluralism is the soul of democracy. There should be freedom for the thought we hate. Freedom of speech has no meaning if there is no freedom of speech. The reality of democracy is to be measured by the extent of freedom and the accommodation it extends. A liberal tolerance of a different point of view causes no damage. It means only a greater self-restraint. Our culture breeds tolerance both in thought and in actions." And he further goes on to say, "There are very few people with the gift to think out of the box and seize opportunities, and therefore such people's thought should not be curtailed by the age-old moral sanctions of a particular section of society having oblique or collateral motives who express their dissent at every drop of a hat." End quote. Writing again in support of a tolerance to literature one may disagree with, that is in the case of a Tamil poet Perumal Murugan, who was virtually being hounded, Justice Kaul said, "If you do not like a book, throw it away. There is no compulsion to read a book. Literary tastes may vary. What is right and acceptable to one may not be so to others. Yet the right to write is unhindered. And this is in line with thousands of years of Indian openness to pluralism in thought and speech." His concurring opinion in Puttaswamy, I think, must have been a slow emanation of his thoughts on his privacy perspectives, and they're elegant and simple. In Amit Sani was Commissioner of Police, keeping in mind the words of Walter Lippmann in mind, which I quote, and this is what Walter Lippmann said, "In a democracy, the opposition is not only tolerated as constitutional, but will be maintained because it is indispensable." And what did Justice Kaul say? He said, however, underscored the limits of public protest in public places. His judgment on Ajit Mohan versus Delhi Legislative Assembly, requiring Facebook to submit to legislative inquiries, reminds us of the emerging literature on unregulated social media and the power of digital giants. Are we entering in a world without mind? Such opinions open us up to new and uncharted fields of social understanding. I have picked up only a few opinions to notice that weave the thought patterns of the Honorable Judge, which beautifully connect his humanistic philosophy blended with a balancing state power and social regulations. His well-articulated intervention in promotion of equal and special opportunities for women officers in armed services, while he was in Delhi High Court, has now become an indelible part of equal opportunities jurisprudence, only to be further strengthened by Honorable Chief Justice, if I may say so, with the Chief Justice judged with lavish attention. If I may say so with respect, I have a holy task now to be a Raksha Bandhan brother to all the women army officers. The narration will be incomplete without reference to his remarkable engagement with the incidents of unruly lawyer protests inside the Madras High Court premises. What Justice Kaul did by getting the CSF to ensure against the hooliganism of the legal fraternity, unfortunately, was not only extraordinary, but just that which was required to secure the nobility and sanctity of the institution of justice. The critiques raised notwithstanding, the strict dose of treatment yielded the results. We wish and pray that his handling of the situation be etched as a story of dignity restoration forever needed to remind the bar about its special social responsibilities. We always look forward to some qualities in every judge: equal regard of all members of the bar, encouragement of the younger members, acknowledging quality assistance, and most of all, putting up with the sound and fury and sometimes the empty noise in the court. And Justice Kaul has showered on us all ample measures on all of them. Soft but stern, his serene and disarming smile will remain with me and remind me of an elder statesman who will be missed. His contributions as chairman of NALSA will sure germinate big yields. Can I not say? He scored a century by organizing the International Conference on Access to Justice, which too has brought significant exchanges of views among Asian, African judiciary and executives, and which has sown seeds for many more international understandings. Finally, his constant reminders to me from the bench towards refining and expanding judicial appointments has assisted me in plugging some issues, and I hope more will be done soon. An evening farewell is too brief a time to capture or to have a total portrait of a judge with long, illustrious contributions. I remain sad in this regard. I therefore say Justice Kaul leaves us without leaving.
Thank you, sir. May I request Dr. Adis Agarwala to President SCBA to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable Dr. Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge, Supreme Court of India, other Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Mr. Justice Surya Kant, Mr. Justice Anuruddha Bose, Mr. Justice Rikesh Roy, Mr. Justice A.S. Oka, Mr. Justice Vikram Nath, Mr. Justice Jitendra Kumar Maheshwari, Miss Justice Hema Kohli, Mr. Justice M.M. Sundaresh, Miss Justice Bela Trivedi, Justice P.S. Narasimha, Mr. Justice Sudhanshu Dhulia, Mr. Justice Pankaj Mittal, Mr. Justice Sanjay Karol, Mr. P.V. Sanjay Kumar, Mr. Justice Ehsanuddin Amanullah, Mr. Justice Manoj Mishra, Mr. Justice Rajesh Bindal, Mr. Justice Prashant Kumar Mishra, Mr. Justice K.V. Viswanathan, Mr. Justice Ujjwal Bhuwan, Mr. Justice S.V. Bhati, Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Mr. Justice Augustine George Massey, Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta. Some may be asking why I mentioned all names, because we have to recognize, because my other friends will be not knowing that Lordship are sitting in front side. That's why I mentioned. Learned Attorney General for Honorable Mr. Justice C.T. Ravi Kumar. And so much, sometimes this mistake happens. But I'm thankful to my Honorary Secretary. He given me opportunity to feel sorry and correct the mistake. Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. R. Venkatramani. Learned Solicitor General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta. Learned Additional Solicitor Generals of India, Senior Advocates, Honorable sitting and retired judges from different parts of India, including Mr. Justice Vipin Sanghi, who just retired from as Chief Justice of Uttarakhand. I will request, because he is sitting in the end, please bring him. Learned Advocate Generals of different states, Learned Vice President Mr. Sukumar Patjoshi, Honorary Secretary Mr. Rohit Pandey, Joint Secretary Mr. Manish Kumar Dubey, Treasurer Mr. Yugandhra Pawar Jha, and Joint Treasurer Mr. Amrendra Kumar Singh, and other distinguished office bearers, and members of Supreme Court Bar Association, and our former President, Mr. Rakesh Khanna. Learned President, Mr. Manoj Kumar Mishra, Vice President, Mr. Sanayashish Mukherjee, Honorary Secretary, Mr. Devath, Joint Secretary, Ms. Rasmi Malhotra, Treasurer, Mr. Puneet Singh Bindra, and Joint Treasurer, Mr. Sachin Sharma, and other distinguished office bearers, and members of Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association, family members of Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India, officers of the Registry of Supreme Court led by Secretary General Mr. Atul M. Kurhekar, distinguished media persons, my brothers and sisters in the legal profession. Being the last working day before closing for winter vacations, we have gathered to say goodbye to a distinguished judge who will be demitting office on the 25th of December this year. Justice Kaul has a vast judicial career spanning over 22 years. These 22 years has seen Justice Kaul contributing immensely to growth of the law and ensuring that the benefit of law reaches the common man. I have been noticing the style of judging of Justice Kaul ever since he took over as Judge of the High Court of Delhi, and I have observed that Justice Kaul decides cases not only by his head but also by his heart. We saw that in the Article 370 case, Mr. Justice Kaul recommended setting up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to look into human rights violation. It shows that Justice Kaul does not ignore history and context when deciding cases. The views articulated by Justice Kaul are thought-provoking and must be debated in light of historical wrongs that have taken place in the state. It is also noticed that when applying the law to the facts of the case, Mr. Justice Kaul is not swayed by popular opinion. He will uphold constitutional values which he has sworn to protect. For example, he has fiercely protected the freedom of speech and artistic expression. He has battled for gender equality. He has stood for personal liberty and did not allow it to be endangered by the brazen power of the state. Through his decisions, he has come to the aid of the downtrodden and vulnerable sections of society. Justice Kaul has never subscribed to hyper-technical views on procedures. He never got entangled into technicalities and always tried to give a substantive relief which was due to a person. In the field of criminal law, the judgments of Justice Kaul deserve credit for refining of principles governing bail applications and the underlining of need to avoid compensation to victims of crime. The one thing which everybody would have noticed about the judgments delivered by Justice Kaul is the use of simple language, no matter how complex the issue is. Justice Kaul is able to express it with clarity in small sentences. This shows that Justice Kaul makes an extra effort to ensure that his decision is read and understood not only by the lawyers but also the litigants and the common man who is unconnected to the case. The Supreme Court lays down the law for the country, and it is important that its decision can be understood by all citizens of the country. In this behalf, I wish to commend the Honorable Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, for taking steps to have judgments translated in local languages for them to be understood by one and all. Justice Kaul has also displayed extraordinary administrative skills. Your Lordship may recollect that when your Lordship was acting Chief Justice of Delhi High Court, you were also the Chancellor of National Law University of Delhi. At that time, I was the Chairman of Bar Council of Delhi and member of the Governing Council of the university. I used to attend meetings of the Governing Council and noticed the keen interest Justice Kaul took to promote legal education. He combined wisdom and foresight to give insight and help to bring in a number of changes. Here in the Supreme Court too, Justice Kaul has taken the National Legal Services Authority to new heights as its executive chairman. He has the ability to identify the right people for right job. My Lord has always taken a stand for what he believes in. He also has the courage to push for his reformist views against all odds. All the qualities have made Justice Kaul popular at the bar. Even as a lawyer, he had a fan following of number of advocates. I recall that in the year 1991, Delhi High Court Bar Association elections were held. I contested for the post of Executive Committee. Mr. Kishan Kaul, now senior advocate, who is the brother of Mr. Justice Kaul, also contested the election. It is due to your popularity that Mr. Kishan Kaul received the highest votes. I was second. They were 3, we were 2. And I stood second. Mr. Neeraj Kaul was first, 5 were to be elected. So he was so popular, not alone, but with the brother also, and father. But we both got elected because there were 5 posts. My Lord, we sincerely thank you for your dedication to the nation and to the cause of justice. You have contributed to the life of the court in different capacities. The Supreme Court Bar Association wishes you and your family the very best for the future. Your retirement does not end your long and illustrious career, and we will continue to seek guidance from the vast experience you have collected over the 4 decades of association with the law. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Justice A.K. Sikri, sir, is here. You are welcome, sir. Now, may I request Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, to kindly deliver his address.
शुरुआत में मुझे कुछ ऐसा लगा कि SCBA के अध्यक्ष महोदय सर्वोच्च न्यायालय के सारे जजेस का कुछ रोल कॉल ले रहे थे। पर थोड़ी देर के बाद ये भी पता चला कि उनकी एग्जीक्यूटिव कमेटी का भी रोल कॉल ले रहे थे। तो मेरे वरिष्ठ सहयोगी और मित्र संजय किशन कौल साहब और मेरी कॉलेज की भाषा में कहना चाहूँ तो मैं यही कह सकता हूँ कि आदिश अग्रवाला साहब सबका क्लास ले रहे थे। Brother Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, the gracious and lovely spouse Shivani Kaul, my colleagues in the Supreme Court, our very distinguished elder brother Justice Arjun Sikri, Attorney General Mr. R. Venkatramani, Solicitor General Mr. Tushar Mehta, President of the SCBA Dr. Adish Agarwala, Vice President of the SCBA, Mr. Sukumar Patijoshi, Shri Manoj Mishra, President Skora and the Executive Committee. I shouldn't forget our good friend Justice Vipin Sanghi, who is sitting there, family and friends of Justice Kaul, members of the bar, and all the guests here. We have gathered here today to express our gratitude to a distinguished jurist, a respected colleague, my dear friend, Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. It is both an honor and a pleasure to speak about a person whose contribution to the evolution of our law and our society has been so immense. First as a lawyer, and then as a judge, Justice Kaul has left our community richer than when he first found it. Brother Kaul belongs to Kashmir, a part of India known for its pristine beauty and culture. Tourists believe that the rivers in the valley sing as they flow. Kashmiris are innately known for their wisdom and scholarship. And that is why the first thing which strikes a tourist who goes to Kashmir is this very famous saying, Gar Firdos barwe zameen hast, zameen asto, hameen ast. Sanjay in Mahabharat could see things far beyond the vision of anyone else. He was a blessed soul, and so is my brother Sanjay. He used his unmatched vision for the good of his people. Justice Kaul follows in the fine tradition of many public-spirited Kauls. His great-grandfather, his great-great-grandfather, Raja Sanjay Kishan Kaul, was the Revenue Minister in the Regency Council of the princely state of Jammu and Kashmir. His great-grandfather, Raja Daya Kishan Kaul, was a diplomat who served as a finance minister of Kashmir. His grandfather, Raja Upinder Kishan Kaul, was a distinguished public servant. His father, lawyer Manmohan Kishan Kaul, was a highly regarded member of the Delhi bar. So as they say, Justice Kaul has it in his genes. Justice Kaul and I go back a long way. We first met in the hallowed halls of St. Stephen's College in 1976. We were the first post-emergency batch, or soon after the emergency. And we were students in pursuit of a BA Honours in Economics. Over classes, countless conversations in the canteen, and a shared love of theatre, we became close friends. 3 years later, we once again found ourselves side by side at the Campus Law Center of Delhi University, where we earned our LLB degrees. In those days, Sanjay had a red-colored Standard Herald car. Honestly, he could have done with a car more suited to his size, but it reflects the ethos of his personality. Sanjay was very copious in his notes at Law College. But something which stood him apart was his notes were highly in demand, though I was also regarded as fairly padhaku in those days. But Sanjay would never have the notes in an exercise book, because he always feared that if somebody took the exercise book and never returned it, there was no suit for specific performance which you could file, or for the delivery of possession. So he would file his notes by the class, and if somebody asked him for notes, he'd say, "Tell me which class you bunked." And he would pull out just that page of the notes and give it to the friend, only to be returned the next day. Sanjay contested the elections to the student union, and we took it upon ourselves to be his ardent supporters. Me, being the most academically oriented, was assigned the task of drafting the manifesto for Sanjay's election. Unfortunately, Sanjay met with a very serious accident during the course of that election. For a moment, all of us mischievous students thought that we will get the benefit of some sympathy vote. But that was not to be. We are lucky that Justice Kaul chose the law. It hadn't always been his plan. His love for travel had him dreaming of the Indian Foreign Service. Until thankfully, former Chief Justice, Justice B.N. Kripal, one of the nation's leading lawyers at the time, convinced him to join the profession. We have benefited richly from his decision to join our ranks. Justice Kaul enrolled as an advocate with the Bar Council of Delhi in 1982. In his 2 decades-long practice, he argued a wide range of civil, commercial, and writ matters before the High Court of Delhi and the Supreme Court. He was an advocate on record of the Supreme Court from 1987 to 1999, when he was designated as a senior. His career as a judge of the Delhi High Court began in 2001. He was later appointed Chief Justice of the Punjab and Haryana High Court in 2013 and Chief Justice of the Madras High Court in 2014. His popularity both in Chandigarh and in Madras is legion. Tomorrow he proceeds to Chandigarh to receive the felicitations of his colleagues from the High Court of Punjab and Haryana. The number of judges from Madras who came to Delhi to be with him at his farewell lunch is just a tribute to his popularity. During his career as a High Court judge, Justice Kaul authored several notable judgments. Each of these judgments reflects his prudence, his sensitivity, and steadfast loyalty to the values of our Constitution. In Maqbool Fida Hussain versus Rajkumar Pandey in 2008, where M.F. Hussein's painting Bharat Mata was challenged as obscene, Justice Kaul passionately defended artistic freedom. He quoted from Pablo Picasso, who famously said, "Art is never chaste. It ought to be forbidden to ignorant innocents, never allowed into contact with those not sufficiently prepared. Yes, art is dangerous. Where it is chaste, it is not art." In S. Tamil Selvan versus Government of Tamil Nadu in 2016, Justice Kaul upheld the freedom of expression of Tamil writer Perumal Murugan, who was charged with offending the moral and religious sensitivities of the public. Justice Kaul held that a publication should not be judged by the standards of the insensitive, who see obscenity in everything. He concluded his judgment by stating, "Let the author be resurrected to what he is best at, writing." In his time as Chief Justice of the High Court of Punjab and Haryana and of the High Court of Madras, Justice Kaul proved not only a fine judge but an able administrator. He filled vacancies, reduced the pendency, and inspired the smooth functioning of his charges, the judges themselves. He undertook extensive restoration of the heritage buildings of the Madras High Court, including the court halls and the great portrait gallery, and took steps to digitize old books and manuscripts at the Judges' Library. He also started a digitization drive to digitize landmark pleadings and judgments at the High Court's record section. In 2017, Justice Kaul was elevated to the Supreme Court. We were just saying to each other as we were leaving the lounge yesterday how time has flown. In his 6 years at the High Court, at the highest court, he has left an indelible mark on the legal landscape of our nation. He has brought to the bench a unique blend of wisdom, compassion, and an unwavering commitment to justice. He has made every effort to help the litigant through the trials of the legal process. His genial temperament, patience, and positive disposition made him popular among the bar. His care and kindness towards his law clerks and his support staff made him a pleasure to work with. Justice Kaul has been a part of several important cases. We've been there together, including the 9-judge Constitution bench in Justice K.S. Puttaswamy versus Union of India, where we upheld not only the right to privacy as a fundamental right, but addressed the various challenges posed to privacy by technological advancement in our age. In the Bar Council of India versus Boni FOI Law College, Justice Kaul emphasized the need for educational reforms in legal studies and the imperative to strengthen the services provided by bar councils in order to establish a robust and efficient legal ecosystem. Justice Kaul's multifaceted contributions extend beyond the courtroom. As the executive chairperson of the National Legal Services Authority, he faced the challenging issue of the delayed release of individuals who had already been granted bail. Responding to this problem, he has been a key proponent and driver of the development of a technological system to ensure the immediate release of a person after bail is granted. This is a testament to his commitment to fairness and efficiency. Whether it is in terms of strengthening the legal aid defense counsel system, or the setting up of the helpline, or the recently concluded international conference, the imprint of Justice Kaul is large in the institution of NALSA. I was privileged to be in the collegium with Justice Kaul, not just during my tenure over the last 1 year, but even before that. The one thing which I'd like to share with you was the utmost candor with which we conducted our discussions, but yet always in a spirit of friendship. Never was there a harsh word expressed, though there were strong viewpoints. Never was there a disagreement to the point that we would not allow the institution to function. We were able to resolve everything with the sense of highest cooperation, with a sense of camaraderie, and with the assessment that we are all here to serve the institution until we pass the baton on to our successors. Therefore, Sanjay, I would like to publicly thank you for your immense cooperation as a member of the collegium. Brother Kaul, your journey has been one marked by integrity, intellect, and a deep sense of justice. On behalf of the entire legal fraternity, I extend my heartfelt gratitude for your exemplary service. I will always cherish the great memories that I shared with you both on and off the bench. May the next chapter of your life be as enriching and fulfilling as the one you leave behind. Justice Kaul recently ended his judgment by quoting Bon Jovi, a favorite of mine too. Today I will take a leaf out of his book and conclude my speech with a few lines from Green Day's Time of Your Life. And the song goes like this. I'm not going to impose the burden of trying to sing it for you, but I can certainly recite it for you. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. It's something unpredictable, but in the end, it's all right. I hope you had the time of your life. With all these accolades which have come your way these past few days, Sanjay, I wish to bring you down to reality. And I do so by reminding you, as you will agree, that your universe has been made complete by your lovely family. The steadfast support of Shivani, the love of Upasana, Akanksha, Arjun, Adit, and the little grandchildren, Abir and Adya, who livened up the Chief Justice's court this morning at the ceremonial bench. Let me then draw the curtains down on my presentation this evening by quoting a few lines from Faiz Ahmad Faiz, when he says, Veera hai maikada khum o sagar udas hain. Veera hai maikada khum o sagar udas hain. Tum kya gaye ke root gaye din bahar ke. But in the tradition of Green Day, Justice Kaul, I hope you had the time of your life here. I wish you joy and good health, great laughs, and good food. I hope that this next chapter gives you more time to pursue a love of reading and theatre, your passion for travel, and many games of golf, to more memories in Kashmir and more time with your family. Thank you for your service. We are the better for it. I would also like to thank and congratulate your family, friends, law clerks, and staff. Thank you.
Thank you, Lordship. We are fortunate to have the most caring Chief Justice of India. Lordship, as your concern towards the bar, you are always ready to provide us with whatever and whenever we need any facility. दस्तूर है जमाने का यह पुराना, लगा रहता है यहाँ आना और जाना। रहो जहाँ अपनी छाप ऐसे छोड़ जाना, हर कोई गुनगुनाता रहे आपका ही तराना। संजय सर, जुडिशरी में आपने छाप छोड़ी है जो हम याद रखेंगे। Now may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly deliver your case.
Honorable Chief Justice Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, brother and sister judges, Attorney General, Solicitor General, other law officers, Supreme Court Bar Association President, Secretary and other office bearers and members of the Advocate and Record Association, former judges and my senior colleagues, members of the bar and members of the registry. I don't propose to take a roll call, so I'll begin with what I have to say. I walk into the shadows with a sense of fulfillment and a prayer on my lips for the Almighty who allowed me to serve the people of this great country in dispensing justice. Life's journey is like a meandering river, always full of curiosities and surprises. A native of Kashmir, born in Delhi, served as the Chief Justice of Punjab and Haryana, and then at the Madras High Court, right at the southern tip of the country, before being elevated to this court, often called the most powerful court in the world. Although I had a sheltered childhood because of the love and affection showered on me by my elders and my grandfather's guidance, I could shoulder responsibility and stand on my own 2 feet from an early age. The school education under the tutelage of the inimitable principal Shyaman Kapoor and my housemaster Shri Eki Chaturvedi helped me broaden my horizon and come into my own. From a child who was reserved to someone who stepped out onto the stage as a theatre actor, my passion for theatre remained with me right through college and thereafter. My school and college education at St. Stephen's was a journey in self-realization that helped me evolve as a person. It taught me to strike a balance between work and other facets of life, adding joy and meaning to it. I do not subscribe to the notion that a judge should lead a cloistered life. Judging is as much about interpreting laws as life's experiences. Interaction with different members of society has provided a perspective on both. The twists and turns of life are unfathomable. My initial inclination was to pursue a degree in economics, followed up with a graduate degree in business administration. The idea was to take the civil services exam to join the foreign service to quench my wanderlust, as the Chief Justice mentioned. When my family found that they could not convince me otherwise, Justice B.N. Karpal, then a lawyer, was roped in to persuade me to join the legal profession. In their perception, my inclination towards foreign service would have taken me away from my duties as the eldest son. Justice Kirpal succeeded in his endeavor. He made me change my mind, a decision I have never regretted. As a lawyer, I was guided by late Justice Arun Kumar, whose chambers I devilled for over 4 years, allowing me to appear in court under his able guidance. This phase of my professional life was one that I enjoyed thoroughly. When I was invited to join the bench, I had concerns which were addressed by the then Chief Justice A.S. Anand and Justice Kripal. I was assured that I will never feel a lack of work satisfaction, and I did not. It has been my endeavor to persuade the successful young members of the bar to accept judgeship, citing myself as an example. Delhi High Court is where I cut my teeth as a judge. A young judge like me can be over-enthusiastic. It showed in my attempts to do away with the adjournment culture which prevailed in the bar. I believe that a litigant should not be made to wait indefinitely to know the outcome of his case. It did take the bar a little time to adjust to my ways, which they did finally. It is my belief that imparting justice is the responsibility of both the bar and the bench. They have to work hand in hand to innovate, to develop the law, to assist people in leading better lives. My elevation to the Punjab and Haryana High Court as Chief Justice after 12 years at the bench came at a delicate time when the relationship between the bar and the bench of Delhi High Court was strained. However, the bar travelled an extra mile to give me a farewell in a manner which left me with a sense of deep gratitude and contentment. The Chief Justice must lead from the front, but carry his colleagues along. The Chief Justice's job carries both judicial and administrative functions. That said, Chief Justices need to show judicial leadership by giving precedence to court work. Thus, administrative work is usually carried out after court hours. The bar at Punjab and Haryana embraced me warmly and accepted me for what I am, a hard taskmaster in court who would say a clear yes or no at the bar representatives, depending on what was possible. My colleagues also gave me unstinted support for the infrastructure and administrative reforms, recommending names for judicial appointments and designating senior advocates. The bar also gave suggestions which were of immense value towards making the courts more accessible to general public. By way of an example, signages were put up to facilitate the litigation public to navigate the court labyrinths. Both Delhi and Chandigarh have a practice of judges convening over lunch, which provided space and time to discuss and sort out issues concerning the court. I have found this practice to be of immense value. I could, over a cup of coffee at times, find solution to the most intricatable problems. One such decision that I took concerned the designation of women senior advocates. One fine day, I was suddenly informed that I had to proceed to Madras High Court as the Chief Justice. I was not pleased about this decision, as my tenure was a work in progress in Punjab and Haryana High Court. My wife thought this was my Waterloo. I assured her that whatever else may be, it would not be so. I was determined to perform my duty as the Chief Justice of the storied court, and my stint turned out to be the most fulfilling period of my career. Until my move to Chandigarh, I had lived in Delhi all my life. Thus, moving to Chennai helped me understand the history and culture of that place, which has its own norms and ethos. The general disposition of people of Tamil Nadu is one of the great humility and acceptance. I went to Chennai reluctantly, but ultimately fell in love with the place and its people. I formed the most enduring friendships, which I continue to cherish to date. Although the Madras High Court has a rich heritage, at a point of time when I joined as Chief Justice, there were serious issues between the bar and the bench. No one person can make a change, but I made an endeavor. The bench of the Madras High Court stood with me on all decisions that enable advocates and litigants to access the court without impediments. It was important to establish the authority of law. This meant that I had to wage many battles in my tenure as the Chief Justice of that court to achieve that goal. I look back with a great satisfaction of my time and what I learned and imbibed, both within and outside the court. 4 years as Chief Justice of 2 high courts was an enriching experience. Fortunately, there was more in store for me. My elevation to Supreme Court gave me a tenure of almost 7 years, which exposed me to a wide array of challenging matters. A judge's greatest satisfaction is in penning down a judgment which contributes to the development of law. The Supreme Court of India is not merely a constitutional court, but practically works as a court of appeal. Everything and anything comes there. It is the final court, and thus a cautious approach becomes necessary as one is laying the law for the country. The Supreme Court is often called supreme because its decision is final and not because it is infallible. I have had no illusions about this and always feel that when I pen down something, it is just an opinion to be agreed with or corrected in future. The bar acts as a check on the judiciary, and this kind of check and balance should be welcomed. In the same vein, it takes strength and courage to simply arrive at a decision and stick by it. Although this is a basic expectation of being a judge, it is not often easy to do so. If there is one piece of learning that I can share with my sister and brother judges, and those of you in the audience who choose to walk this path, it is that there is often no right decision, but only the best one in a given circumstances. Find the courage and conviction within you to make a decision, and once you do, don't look back. Decisions are made not only from an application of mind, but also from the heart. By this I mean, intuition and empathy go a long way in judicial decision making. I do not think that anyone could have put it better than Kipling in his poem If. I quote, "If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, not lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son." Unquote. I have endeavored to perform my task with a sense of humility, yet I know I have been tough in court on more than one occasion. However, I have done this with the best of intentions. As Brother Dhullia keeps reminding me, sitting on the bench, कोर्ट का इकबाल होना चाहिए. Over the last year and a half, I also had the additional responsibilities that come with being the second judge to the Chief Justice. In the many ways that life's come around, this too came around, as I had the privilege of sharing these responsibilities with my longtime friend from St. Stephen's, who I fondly call Dhan. I have endeavored to execute this role to the best of my ability. One role that I will cherish fondly is being the Executive Chairman NALSA, as also the Chairman of the Mediation and Conciliation Project Committee. This gave me the opportunity to see the dispensation of justice at the grassroots level, which has been a source of personal satisfaction. Along with Brother Justice Khanna, Justice Shagdar, Justice Bhansali, Justice Jayakaran Nambiar, and Justice Maushami Bhattacharya, we were able to make significant inroads. Today, NALSA has footprints all over the country and forayed into many areas with the aim of maximizing assistance to the litigants. The Secretary NALSA, Santosh, has played an extremely important role in assisting me in responsibilities, including in organizing the first regional conference on access to legal aid and strengthening access to justice in Global South. I would like to add that the reliance on mediation has grown by leaps and bounds, which I have vociferously advocated with the able assistance of M.S. Mizawali, Member Secretary, Supreme Court Legal Services Committee. I have always believed that courts are temples of justice and must remain open to the litigants to knock at their doors any time. Litigants are tired and weary, more so by the time they reach this court, which is the court of last resort. The bar and the bench exist for them. It is to the credit of this court that access to justice remains unimpeded at all times. The challenges faced by litigants who approach this court for resolution of their disputes must remain foremost in our mind while dispensing justice. The prayer of every judge is something which I keep on my table. Give me the grace to hear patiently, to consider diligently, to understand rightly, and to decide justly. Grant me due sense of humility, that I may not be misled by my willfulness, vanity, or egotism. in my own way, I have tried to adhere to this prayer. I have been often asked what I enjoyed more, my days at the bar or bench. My answer to this query has always been that my experience both at the bar and the bench has been enjoyable and thoroughly satisfying. My family has stood by me in difficult times. My wife Shivani would tell me that I should do what I felt was right in my heart. My daughters Akanksha and Upasana did have a grievance that I did not spend enough time with them. I have always said there are 3 women in my life. My son-in-laws Aditya and Arjun may possibly have had the same grievance as my daughters. Apportioning time between work and personal life becomes challenging at times. I have tried to make amends with regards to my grandchildren, Abir and Adya. I have been more indulgent with them, though I still feel I fall short. I would like to thank my staff who worked with me in Delhi High Court, the Punjab and Haryana High Court, the Madras High Court, and the court and this court in carrying out my task. I have treasured and applaud their commitment and efficiency. One of the innovative steps taken by the institution is to attach law researchers to judges. This practice has benefited both the judges and young law graduates. Law researchers who are enthusiastic and committed assist the judges in myriad ways. I would like to commend my law researchers. Going back to my days in the Delhi High Court, namely Radhika, Karthik, Tanvi, Aparna, Shailja, Bhavesh, Maitri, Pranav, Kaustab, Shreya, Mihika, Andolan, Mrinani, Abhishek, and many more. I am told that they have a WhatsApp group called Call and Company. What now? I want to do things for which I have had no time. Travel where I have not been. Spend more time with the family, especially my grandchildren. Watch theatre, play golf, watch films, learn to play the piano, read, and keep my mind occupied with some legal work. It has been a satisfying experience, to say the least, but I believe much more is to come. As I traverse onwards from my judicial path, I would like to end this address with my favorite words from the poem of Robert Frost, Stopping My Woods on a Snowy Evening. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep, and miles to go before I sleep, and miles to go before I sleep. While I have no intention to sleep, I think I have earned a well-deserved rest in the woods. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
संजय सर, 4 लाइनें और आपके लिए हैं। आपकी सोच को आवाज़ हम देंगे, आपके ख्वाब को आगाज़ हम देंगे, आपके जाने पर इतना भरोसा दिलाते हैं, आपके इरादों को परवाज़ हम देंगे। संजय सर, आपकी कुल देवी ज्वाला जी की कृपा आप पे है, जो खुरू पुलवामा में है, कश्मीर में, जो हमारे लिए एक बहुत बड़ी बात है, जो हम लोगों के लिए एक ब्लेसिंग्स हैं। संजय सर, योर वर्ड्स हैव ऑलवेज बीन एम्पावरिंग टू द लॉयर्स, टू द मेंबर्स ऑफ द बार. Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Now may I request Mr. R. Venkatramani to present a portrait to Honorable Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. May I request Mrs. Shivani Kaul, please come on the stage. Please. Now may I request Dr. Adi Sagawala, President SCBI, Mr. Sukumar Patjoshi, and senior members of the Executive Committee, Mr. Arjit Prasad, Mr. Jayant Bhushan, Mr. Ranjit Thomas, Mr. Dinesh Goswami, Mr. Narendra Hooda, Mr. Wasim Kadri to present a memento on behalf of the Bar to Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul. Now may I request Ms. Yugandhara Pawar Jha to read out the message given by the Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul.
Thank you, Rohit. Message by Justice Kaul. A few thoughts to share with the bar. The relationship between the bar and the bench has its own nuances. The justice delivery system needs both. The common purpose is to serve the litigant who approaches the judicial institution seeking justice. Invariably, the litigant approaches the court as a last resort. The common man has faith in it, which should never be belied. The development of law ought to be oriented towards maximizing welfare and justice for the people. Judges play their part, but they can only do so with the assistance of legal professionals. In this regard, I would like to reiterate that a lawyer's submissions, both written and oral, ought to be aimed not only towards the welfare of the client, but also for the public at large. This is the full meaning of the adage that justice is always a collaborative effort between the bar and the bench. The foremost principle that I believe is required in this profession is integrity, since law as a profession should never be practiced for monetary and individual gains alone. One can only truly succeed in this profession when they devote themselves to larger cause of the profession. The integrity of lawyers is not limited to the courtroom and extends way beyond, for all the lawyers are officers of the court, representing the virtues and morals of justice. Bearing this principle in mind, I have always urged and encouraged talented lawyers to even at times forego their lucrative practices and join the bench to further the existing jurisprudence, since if no good lawyer joins the bench, then nuanced arguments will go unappreciated and the law shall not evolve. It is the bounden duty of the senior members of the bar as well as the judges to evolve the next generation of lawyers. The challenges a newcomer faces in the legal profession must be addressed. All of us owe to the next generation of lawyers to assist them in evolving themselves in the ever-growing legal field. I have a strong belief that mediation is the way forward. No legal system can take the burden we seek to put on it. Mediation not only unburdens the legal system by providing an alternate dispute resolution mechanism, but it is a better method of dispute resolution where parties decide what their interest is without having to depend on a predetermined legal principle. A judge is always remembered for his judgments, and when I reflect upon my judicial tenure, I find that I have adopted a concise and pragmatic approach to my legal writing and decision making. I hope that these remain valuable contributions to the development of law. Yet, I am mindful that law is meant to be transitioned with time, and the judgments I authored are not the end, but part of a larger evolution of law. I look forward to seeing how the bar and the bench felicitate this evolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Yuga. Now may I request Mr. Minesh Dubey, Joint Secretary, SCBA, to deliver vote of thanks.
थैंक यू रोहित. वैसे थैंक्स तो 3 राउंड हो चुका है बाय प्रेसिडेंट, वाइस प्रेसिडेंट एंड सेक्रेटरी, बट इट्स नाउ फॉर्मल. We are grateful to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchud, Chief Justice of India, for accepting our invitation to preside over the function. We are grateful to Hon'ble Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Honorable Judge, Supreme Court of India, for accepting our invitation. I thank Madam Mrs. Shivani Kaul and family members of Justice Kaul for accepting our invitation for gracing this occasion. I wish Honorable Mr. Justice Sanjay Kishan Kaul, Judge Supreme Court of India, a very happy, healthy and enjoyable life ahead. Bar will miss you, sir. We are grateful to Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Honorable Justice A.K. Sikri, former Judge, Supreme Court of India, Justice Vipin Sanghi, former Chief Justice of Uttarakhand High Court. We are grateful to Sri Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Sri Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Law Officers, Sri Atul Kurekar, Learned Secretary General, and Mr. Mahesh Patankar, Mr. Rakesh Kumar, Mr. Rajiv Sharma, and other Registrar of the Supreme Court. I thank Senior Member of the Bar, Sri Rakesh Khanna, former President, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, former Secretary of Supreme Court Bar Association, Ms. Neena Gupta, Mr. Sombir Deswal, Member GICC, Supreme Court of India. Distinguished guests and members of the bar, we are grateful to Mr. Manoj Misra, President, Sri Snesis Mukherjee, Vice President, and other office bearer of SCORA, and press and electronic media persons for gracing the occasion. I am thankful to members who have joined virtually. I wish to thank SCBA staff, registry staff for their cooperation for making this function success. I request EC member to come on dais for photograph. I request to all of you kindly join us for high tea.